people, and welcome to part 2 of the Writers Haven Show interview with the wonderfully talented founders of the Annapolis Film Festival, Patty White and Lee Anderson. I had them on the show in season 4. They dropped so much knowledge that I was thrilled to have them come back and talk to us about the 12th Annual Film Festival. So we just wrapped part 1. We're going to slay right into part 2. And I'm going to start off by asking you about the Filmsters Academy.
Well, this is our 24th year, believe it or not, of teaching young people. And we created this really kind of special program. We have 3 levels, beginner, intermediate, and our very special advanced program. And the kids are 11 to 18. So every summer for 2 weeks, we make 10 short films. It's organized chaos. We try to have almost a 2-to-1 staff to kid ratio. And we put real cameras and lights and real things that are used in the real film world in the hands of children, which most normal people wouldn't do.
Yeah, now do they have to have some experience before to get into the school?
No, the advanced program we have to invite you to the advanced program, and you have to have some experience to be an advanced. But for beginners and intermediate, all you need is the desire to be there. And the one thing we do ask of our students is, don't come if you're not interested or you don't want to do this. If you'd rather be somewhere else and your parents are pushing you, try to convince them not to send you, because this is a program where filmmaking is a team sport, and it's the same way with kids in camp. They have to support each other. They have to get out there and make their films together, because we're teaching them everything from the ground up, from the writing, the thinking of the idea, the writing, the pitching, you know, the directing, the producing, the editing, the camera work, the acting. We have it all. It's all in there, and these kids get to dabble in everything and find out what they like, if they like anything. And not all of them want to be filmmakers, but they all want the experience of getting to play in this world that we've created for them. And some will go on and end up studying it in school and becoming, you know, in the industry. Whereas others will use this knowledge in so many other businesses that they have.
Are you finding that with these emerging media opportunities, particularly with the cell phone, you know, people shooting whole films on phones, that there's a lot more interest in it from the younger people?
There is more interest, but what we've also learned in some of the education, like college and other programs, they're teaching less about story and more about tech. And we're really story driven. It's all about the story. So from day 1, kids come in and they learn what the different genres are. They learn how to craft a pitch. They stand up in front of the entire camp. When you're in the beginners, it's like we have almost 90 people, and you're pitching in front of 90 people at a microphone.
11-year-olds are pitching. It's great.
And you're getting confidence in learning how to express your idea and tell it concisely, but also creatively, and get their attention, and you're selling it. So they learn that. And then the kids break into groups. We make 3 films each week in beginners. So first week there's 3 films made in beginners. Second week there's 3 films made in beginners. Intermediates get 10 days to make 3 films, so they're there for the whole 2 weeks. And then the advanced program, we start on the weekend moving in, doing an entire writing prep for the advanced weekend. And then the middle weekend is their shoot weekend, and then they make 1 film together. So then we have 10 films. I think to date we have something like 238 short films online, made, all original ideas made by kids.
And you've had some, if I recall, was it your son who was one of the first?
2 sons.
Okay, who were the first to kind of go through the program?
Well, no, actually, my son, one of them, actually started with us, and he started teaching when he was 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
Because he had already been playing around with, you know, in high-8 camera back then at 11, 12 years old. So he had already gotten to a point where we were just a little teeny program at the time.
Just beginners, the first
just beginners.
Did he do Jamesy Boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did Jamesy Boy. Well, both of my sons, they did. My younger son directed it, Trevor, and my older son produced it. And then they just did King Richard 2 years ago.
They produced King Richard.
Yeah.
The King Richard that
Yeah,
Oh my
Will
goodness.
Smith's King Richard.
Wow.
About Serena and Venus.
That is amazing.
So they've
I'm gonna have
come
to
a
go
long
watch
way.
that again.
I know.
With
They've
a
had a
different
lot of
lens.
films. They did, because we haven't talked to you in a while.
Right.
They did Jamesy Boy. They did Ingrid Goes West. They were involved in Wind River.
They did The Post.
Crooked Somebody. They did The Post with Spielberg. They did LBJ with Rob Reiner and Woody Harrelson.
Wow.
They, this past year, did a Hulu film, a horror sci-fi film called No One Will Save You. They also just had the film
Fair Play.
Fair Play
on
that was
Netflix.
one of the highest, biggest deals ever made at Sundance. It went to Netflix. And now they're about to shoot, well, they just
This
wrapped
film.
shooting one film.
And they're
They're about to
hopefully about to
start
start
another
another one. Yeah.
My goodness, what a legacy.
So
you
for
have
years,
left
Trevor
in the
has still
world.
come back to teach our advanced
Yeah.
program.
But now they have babies, and so they all have babies, and so it's harder to, babies and careers, it's harder to land them here, but we still try every year.
Wow.
But we bring in a
That's
lot of
wonderful
industry
story.
guest instructors, and a lot of the instructors were former students that come back, and then we sprinkle in, there are layers to this. So, we have an internship program. If anybody wants to intern with us, that's if they've completed 1 year of college, we're looking for good interns. Then we have junior staff that have been there 1 to 5 years. Then we have senior staff, 5 years or older, and then we have industry guest instructors that come in and they're the masters that come in and teach. So it's layered learning, and it's all hands-on and experiential. We're
One of the-
actually coaching you through it.
One of the things that, and our advanced program, I'd like to talk a little bit about that because it's a very specialized program. And we created it for the kids that are 16 to 18 years old. And the ones that usually do this class, not all of them, a lot of them, will go and do other things, but a lot of them do want to go to study film, whether they're going to film school or they're going to a regular college, but they are interested in the film industry in some way. So we know this is the place where we want to give them a real world experience, and we don't make it easy for them. I mean, we put them out there. They have to. They're shooting off campus. They're shooting on location somewhere. It's a 2.5 week program because it's 2 weekends and 2 weeks nonstop. And we expect you to show up. You know what I mean? It's intense.
Yeah,
but
sounds
the
like
kids who go through it really learn something about what it is to make a short film and what they have to do. And then they can find out, I don't really like this producing thing because you've got to know this, or
hard.
somebody else might say, I love this. I'm organized. I can get all this done. And somebody might say, everybody wants to be a director, till you throw them in the job of directing, and they find out what it really is. That you have to not only have a vision and be able to control, to guide everybody on set, but you also have to be responsible for the way the actors are acting. So you need the tech aspect, you need the actors' editorial aspect, you have to have an overview of everything, you have to have diplomacy when you speak to other people. There's so many things, and kids don't all have all of those things, but they're learning to know whether they could do it or not.
Full
In the advanced
immersion.
program,
Love it.
every kid is pretty much mentored one-on-one by an industry professional. So we bring in a supervising director, a supervising producer, supervising writer, supervising real cinematographer, supervising sound,
Editor.
supervising producer,
Editor,
supervising editor, composer. Like, we have all of these roles, music supervisor, and they are being coached with real gear. I mean, we shoot the advanced film last year. We shot it on Alexa Mini LF.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the year before in Amira. So, and they're, we get Steadicams and Dana Dollies, and they're doing what
We also,
real
it's like a
deal.
studio. We have special effects. We have hair and makeup. We have
We
a
do.
costume department.
It's amazing.
That we've built over these 20 years.
they
of
just will fit kids.
And they come in, and the kids go. Part of for the young kids, the dressing up is,
So fun.
is the most fun of all.
It's actually fun for the staff too.
And the staff, the big kids, the staff
Yeah.
that are all in their 20s and early 30s and whatever, they all dress up too. So
And this is all happening where?
at
Let
the
our
Key
viewers
School,
know. The Key School.
We take over a part of the Key School.
In Annapolis.
In
yeah.
Annapolis, and it's a private school that has a lot of ground around it, you know, and they have buildings that look like it was an old dairy farm one day, you know, so it can pass for different things.
Okay.
It's not far from the water.
Right, it has fields and it has offices and it has classrooms and it has
A little beach
a
nearby.
park and woods, and so it can look like a lot of different things.
And the kids love it.
And so anyone that's interested should
Go to Filmsters Academy.
Filmstersacademy.com. If you want to watch any of the previous films, the password is always lowercase FA for Filmsters Academy, and whatever the numerical year is. If you want to see last year's, it would just be FA 2023.
Okay.
So
Great.
you feel free to, you can see the difference in the amount of time spent and the level of skill in different groups. You know, you can look at a beginner, an intermediate, and advanced, but don't let the beginner films fool you, because they're the most fearless. The kids are not pressured by their peer group. They just have crazy ideas that are usually great.
Most of the staff will say, oh my gosh, I want to make the film that this kid, this 11-year-old just pitched, you know, I'd like to make that film. Because they are fearless, and their creativity is off the charts at this age. It's uncontrollable.
That innocence.
It's a lot of
love
innocence,
that.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that we did find is that, you know, after the pandemic, that first year we came back, we found some darkness. We got past it in a few days, but we did find some darkness that was over these kids because they weren't out in the world. They were home, and they were just on the internet, and they were, you know, not really interacting with people, and it bothered us. And so we really made an effort, had all our staff made an effort to pull these kids out of this
But
world.
even the staff said it.
They did.
We were at our staff
They did.
training, and one of our staff, a male staff, said, I don't know about you guys, my social skills are a little rusty, haven't been out there, been feeling this way, and all of a sudden everybody just started talking about what that was like to go through the pandemic alone, very lonely experience. So bringing everyone together was so joyful after that, because it's a love fest anyway, because people all reconnect just for those 2 weeks every year, and they're so excited to work with new people, and everybody's welcomed. And there are no bad ideas, and we're very much about, we offer critique but not criticism in a harsh way, and nobody makes fun of anybody. It's just a free
there's no
place to
bullying
have
at Filmsters, I'll tell you that.
there's no
You won't
bullying.
find that anywhere near there.
On that.
Sometimes the craziest ideas of all are really the most entertaining, you know, and our different departments are so skilled. I mean, we have a makeup artist that can do prosthetics, and we've had stunt coordinators, and we do all kinds of things. Actually,
superhero movies with
we'd like
kids
to
flying.
shoot, if we need to, can we come here and shoot green screen?
I said to Lee, this green screen would be perfect for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
A camp.
Yeah, it'd be
Absolutely.
fun. It'd be fun.
Listen, I'm
We'd do
only
a
a phone
cool
call
scene.
away. You just let me know.
Phone call
just
away.
let me know.
Hey,
so, you know,
Valerie.
I want to go back because you said something that really ignited something inside of me that I know that you all know, but I want to make sure that you hear it, because you probably heard it before, but I want you to hear it from me. What you guys do with this film festival and the love that you put into curating these films brings so much to the human spirit that cannot be duplicated in any way. I mean, art speaks in a way that nothing else compares to. And when you curate these films and you bring them all together, and this year you're talking a lot about relationships, different kinds of relationships, that's something that COVID, the pandemic, impacted in a huge way.
It did. It really did.
It really did. And so I'm really excited for you in this new year, and everything being completely open and people coming in and viewing these films and the genesis of what these films are about. And being out of the box on top of that is, I mean, there's going to be fireworks all over Annapolis that you can see from Washington, D.C., the monument.
I hope
just
so.
how spectacular this is going to be. I'm so excited and happy for you.
There's still people in Annapolis that have no idea we even have a festival. So we need to
see?
get that out of the way.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, please.
Can we talk about that for a second? So, I mean, you guys are marketing in every way I can think of.
We try.
So what else do you think needs to happen?
we're always kind of limited in a marketing budget kind of way. So like, share, follow us on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
We have Twitter and TikTok, all cranking. I think the thing people need to understand that maybe isn't always clear is you're seeing these movies first. They're not on a streamer. They're not coming out yet. They're brand new releases, and they'll, 2 to 6 months later, they'll hit theaters or Netflix or Amazon or whatever. So you can just say, "Oh, I saw that months ago."
Also, you got to remember, we're bringing 70 to 80 guests in with these films.
That's a big draw.
So
Huge.
people need to understand that you don't know who's going to show up. I mean, we're not telling everybody, every single person that's coming in. There's some subjects of documentaries or whatever that when people finish watching the doc, someone might walk out on the stage that was part of that. And that is the kind of thing you just can't get from watching at home. This is something that we're bringing you. This is the special thing. It's the spirit thing you're talking about. It's how do you grow? How do you want to feel more? And how do you be able to understand those feelings when you have them? This is what a festival can do. It's what art does. But the thing about film is that it's not as niche as other forms of art. It's so broad that it can bring in the masses and have something for everybody. And that's what we're hoping to do.
We believe film is the most powerful medium on earth. And to extend our commitment even further this year to students, we're offering a student pass for $125. That includes opening night tickets, $60. So that's half of that right there. Unlimited panels, unlimited films for the entire weekend, plus they'll get into coffee talks for free because we want them to hear these conversations from artists that are actually living their dream and doing this. So we want to inspire more people.
Yeah, and I will tell you that the last year that I was here pre-COVID, I think it was in 2019 that I brought the students. There were students from Bowie State and Prince George's Community College. And we taped one of the coffee talks. And they were so excited afterwards, because they're behind the camera. Now they're getting in front, they're going, they're talking, because they want to learn more. They were like sponges. And I got to see that.
That's the sponge thing is a big deal.
It really
is. You can see it. You can see it in their eyes and everything. And it's one of the things we love about our kids at camp. You can see it in their eyes.
I mean, you want to. You know what it's like when you light the fuse for somebody and then all of a sudden they have a passion for the rest of their life. That's kind of the magical thing that we've been committed to. It's so great to see. I mean, we've had, I would say 1,000 people through camp in 24 years.
I think so.
1,000 or more students. And a lot of them have ended up in the industry. It's really exciting. And they've come from very different backgrounds. You have the more privileged kid that can come, and we've had some scholarship kids also, and it doesn't matter because they're getting turned on to something that they fall in love with, and that's the most important thing. I think every parent wants a kid to fall in love with something.
And if you want to know,
very enriching.
The fact is that we've had this for years, long before the film festival, long before Filmsters Academy, when we've both been in the industry a long time and trying to do films that speak to people and have relevance in the time. And we've grown with all of these things that we've done. I mean, we're learning every day. When kids look, sometimes they come to us and they think they know it all. Oh, we know everything about this, and we're like, no, we don't know everything. We're learning every day from people, from different people, from films. But one of the things that we're on to the next too. We're going to make we're making a documentary. And the documentary.
Let's talk about that.
Well, a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about it. No, it's part of Filmsters. Yes, our production company. It's separate from the Annapolis Film Festival. Maybe one day it'll get in. We don't know. We have to finish it. We're actually in the process of raising money right now because we've shot the first half of it, and we're trying to raise the money to complete the film. So that's where we are. But it's the story. It's really the journey of the Black actor in America. Seen through the eyes of a drama professor who taught some of the greats over the years, some of the great Black actors, and are still teaching at 88 years old at Duke Ellington. She was at Howard, Duke Ellington, still teaching the young cream of the crop. So we're following 5 students from Duke Ellington that we followed into college, and we're telling her story, the drama professor, and we're going to be interviewing some of the actors that she taught from the past.
So these aren't
Very
just
nice.
like local actors.
No,
These are big names. So her students were people like Felicia Rashad, Debbie Allen, Isaiah
Chadwick
Washington,
Boseman.
Anthony Anderson, Taraji P.
Okay.
Henson,
Oh.
Lynn Whitfield, Frederica Whitfield.
And the interesting thing about her name is Professor Vera J. Katz.
Okay.
And she comes to our festival every year because
She'll
she
be there.
loves this festival.
Okay.
And but she is an amazing, amazing human being, and she has done something that she was driven to do at a young age. And we don't want to tell you too much of the story
Yeah.
because it's in the offing, and we want to have something to talk about when the film
Yeah.
is made.
Well, that is awesome to hear. I'm
Yeah.
very excited to hear. I know her name. I don't know much about her, but that's great.
Her commitment to providing the same opportunity to everyone speaks loudly and clearly. And she's just
it's
spent her whole
along-
life doing that.
And it's along the same lines of what the two of you do.
Well, that's where
Well, we kinda connected that
we
way.
connected on
Yeah,
that, and I
yeah.
think this is why she trusted us to tell the story through her lens.
Also, if you come to film camp, she comes and does an acting workshop.
She does.
She's 4'11" and scares the heck out of everybody because she wants them to be prepared, bring your notebook, practice your monologue, you know.
But she does it with a lot of heart.
Yeah.
So
She does.
she's scary in a good way.
And a lot of our staff really feel like they've improved intensely and dramatically because just a few minutes with her. So, and then she came on set for the first time last year on our advanced weekend, and she was just as on her feet, running around, giving notes the whole time, just like all the other staff. It was amazing.
I mean, I think the
Wow.
most interesting thing is
She's
the amount
left a
of
legacy.
allegiance that these actors from the past have
Yeah.
toward her today, and it's incredible because she really did something that, you know, she really touched them and gave them tools, as she says, that really they didn't have, you know. And she says, "I'm not the Great White Hope. Don't ever play me that way."
No.
She said, "But basically, I'm somebody that has a toolbox, and I know what they need, and I'm going to give it to them. They have the talent. They're going to do it. They're just going to learn how to use these tools." So it's really interesting, and it's interesting to see how she does it and how they respond and how these actors go from having talent to being great.
Stars.
Yeah.
So that's the journey.
That is amazing.
We don't think anyone's
Great.
told this story, and I know we're two white people sitting here telling the story, but it's a white and black story, and we
Right.
have other black
You know,
producers
art
working
truly
on the film
is
with us as well.
Colorless.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Art is colorless.
Art is colorless, and our relationship to the story is that way because
Yeah,
of our
right.
background. Having heard all the things that we've done,
Yeah.
the students we've taught, the scholarship kids we've taken, meeting Vera, knowing her and what she's done, it was symbiotic for
Yeah.
us to tell the
Sure.
story.
Because it's a shared story.
It's a
Yeah.
shared story.
You know, all the three of you have a passion for what
We
you
do.
and pouring
Yeah.
into the lives of
We
young
do.
people
We do.
in a way that is going,
Yeah.
they're going to carry it for the rest of their lives.
After the first year Vera did the acting workshop, she said, "I like the kids. I'll come back."
She told you. She told you.
But you
she's
didn't like
coming back.
us? What? You didn't like us?
The kids. So listen, one last question. What is it that you want the moviegoers, the film enthusiasts, the filmmakers who come to the film festival in April 4th through the 7th, what is it that you want them to get out of it? The number one thing.
Everything. We want them to get everything they need. Because people come into something like that
Right.
having desires for things, having concerns, having problems,
Right.
having inspirations. It's the good and the bad. We want them to sit down in these films and really watch them. Go on the ride, you know, and listen to what people are saying. And move the needle for yourselves. Move change.
Yeah.
Go through some things. You know?
Yeah. Let yourself be stretched and pushed and your mind wrapped around something new, and challenge yourself to get rid of old preconceptions and suck everything you can out of every movie so that you're still thinking about it months after the festival.
And turn to your neighbor next to you and your neighbor next to you and say, we're a community.
Yeah.
We belong together, so we're having this shared experience. Doesn't matter which part of the community we come from. It doesn't matter our race, our gender, our financial security. None of it matters. When you enter that theater, you're going to have this experience together. That's what we want people to have. We want to blend. We wanted it from the beginning. We want to blend our community. We want to make this a community that thrives because we get along. We're against what the rest of the country is feeling today. We really want to have that special thing in our community. We believe we can have it.
Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all feel and think and breathe the same air, and we need to be united as one. We're one country, and it's time to at least be able to continue the conversation, not be so divisive. So we think film promotes that in a way that is a natural, organic way for people to just turn and start talking to each other.
Come and buy tickets, get in line, go have the experience, and see if you don't want to come back the next day.
Sometime between the last week of March, first week of April, you can depend on the Annapolis Film Festival being in full effect. So thank you very much for joining us for part 2 of this wonderful conversation. And Dreamcatchers, thanks for joining us for this episode of the Writers Haven Show. And I hope our discussion inspired you. If you're a filmmaker and you're on your journey, that these ladies have poured into you in a way that just excites you even more to delve deeper into that art and go to the 12th annual Annapolis Film Festival to be fed and nurtured even more. It's coming your way, our way, April 4th through the 7th. It's a must attend, and I hope to see you there. The show will be there. We'll be there on location. We'll be interviewing filmmakers who will be featured as part of the film festival. So definitely join us. If you would like to see this interview, past interviews, you can tune into our show at www.writershavenshow.com, and you just pick from our listing of streaming and broadcast channels and subscribe so you'll never miss a show. So thanks for joining me, and until next time, catch fire on purpose.
Into something like that, having desires for things, having concerns, having problems, having inspirations. It's the good and the bad. We want them to sit down in these films and really watch them. Go on the ride, and listen to what people are saying, and move the needle for yourselves. Move change. Go through some things.
Let yourself be stretched and pushed, and your mind wrapped around something new. And challenge yourself to get rid of old preconceptions and suck everything you can out of every movie so that you're still thinking about it months after the festival.
And turn to your neighbor next to you and your neighbor next to you and say, we're a community. We belong together, so we're having this shared experience. Doesn't matter which part of the community we come from. It doesn't matter our race, our gender, our financial security. None of it matters. When you enter that theater, you're going to have this experience together.